again and welcome back to my channel. It is me, Horror Granny, here with a brand new video that is completely different from everything we've done before. Yes, this is a Saturday video, so therefore we're doing something very different, very special, that I might regret. Today, I am bleaching my hair. Hashtag not spams. Yes, I've been bleaching my own hair for a very long time now, ever since I went to the salon this one time and they fried my hair. It came out yellow and green. It was horrible. So I decided that if I'm gonna end up with burnt yellow-green hair, I might as well just do it myself and save a couple bucks. So this is what we're doing today. While I do that, oh my god, I'm sweating. I'm going to tell you about this great movie from the late 90s that should have turned into this massive franchise. It should have been huge. It should have been like Scream, but it didn't. And I still don't know why. And it is the fantastically gorgeous movie called Urban Legend. So we're going to talk about Urban Legend while I do this. I'm going to be looking at the mirror because otherwise this is going to turn out real ugly, but we'll put something here. Don't worry. So like I was saying, Urban Legend is this 1998 slasher horror film that came out from that new wave of slasher films that we got after Scream became like a huge thing. Scream came out in 1996. So this was 2 years after we've already had another Scream movie, and there were like I Know What You Did Last Summer and all of those movies. The premise of this movie, the story, is that the killer follows urban legends. I mean, all the kills take the shape and form of an urban legend. You know, the babysitter that gets the call from inside the house, or the pop rock thing, that sort of thing. So it has a great cast. I mean, the premise in and of itself is really good. It's like urban legends, like who would have thought? It's a great idea for a slasher film. So they also had a great cast of up-and-coming actors. You have Rebecca Gayheart, Alicia Witt, a very young pre-rock star, pre-leader of a cult, Jared Leto. Please don't sue me. And you also have a freshly just out of the small TV screen, Joshua Jackson, you know, Pacey from Dawson's Creek. And they actually do like a very funny thing with his character. He's inside his car and they're having trouble turning it on, and as it turns on, the radio starts blaring the theme song from Dawson's Creek. So that was pretty fun. He has bleached hair for some reason, which might have inspired this. My hair looks a little it looks wonky because I actually shaved the underside, so this is shorter than this. Yeah, quarantine has been hard and all of that. So we have this amazing cast, and they also have cameos from like very well-known, at least 3 well-known actors from horror films. We have Danielle Harris, who is my dogs. Okay, so this is like the first part that we're gonna excited. Okay, so I'm gonna mix this. We've got the powder. There it is. The developer. Yes. Developer. Oh my god, it's thick. She's thick. She doesn't want to come out. Out. Okay, so now it's confession time. I don't actually have a plan. We might, I just don't want to end up both. Anyways, so that's the one. That's done. And now we mix. Again, I forgot to add a disclaimer before I start. So I am not a professional hairstylist. This is not a tutorial. I will not be linking what I use in the description or anything like that. I am just someone that sometimes plays with her hair. Ooh, this is like, ooh, plumping up nicely. Check that texture. Ooh, looks like, I don't know, buttercream or something. Nice. Okay. Okay. She thick. She thick. Wow. Okay, so let's get on it. So I'm gonna kind of be looking at the mirror because otherwise this is gonna end up horrible. So yeah. But I'm here. I'm talking. Okay, so we have this great movie that has a great young up and coming cast. We also have Tara Reid, a very young, very cute Tara Reid. And like I was saying, there are at least three major sort of like cameos. They're very small roles from well-known actors in horror. And one of those is Danielle Harris. Danielle Harris, who played the daughter of Laurie Strode in at least one of the Halloween movies, and who was invited by Rob Zombie, God bless his soul, to be in his remakes of Halloween. So she was in both remakes. She was one of the friends from the new Laurie Strode. All I know is that you're not supposed to put this on your roots. So we're gonna put that. That's as far as tutorials go. So yeah, oh, my gloves. Damn it, I almost forgot to put on the gloves. We also have Brad Dourif, who has a very small role at the beginning of the film. My dogs keep barking. So Brad Dourif is the voice of Chucky in the Child's Play original movies. All of them, actually. And I just read that he was just assigned to be the voice of Chucky in the new Child's Play TV show that they're developing, so that's pretty cool. Yay, yay, Brad Dourif. I mean, I did like the fact that in the new Child's Play, Mark Hamill did the voice because he has an amazing voice. He does the little like evil laugh perfectly. I mean, he was the Joker, one of the best Jokers in my humble opinion. So yeah. We're doing this. Okay, yeah. We are doing this. Oh my god. The double chin is so cute. Yeah, I'm nervous. That's why I'm singing, because this is nerve-wracking. Okay. Whew. Strand one. And we have also Robert motherfucking Englund. That's right, the OG Freddy Krueger playing Professor Wexler. Obviously a professor on campus, which is where all of the action is happening. And if that is not one of the coolest things ever, I don't know. It was definitely one of the reasons why I went to see the movie, but also I was 15 when it came out, and it was like all the rage. Slasher movies were all the rage. So yeah, we have Robert Englund, aka a legend, playing a small but significant role, of course. The actual movie starts with a kill, of course, and it's based on the legend of the killer with the axe on the passenger seat, not at the passenger seat, on the back seat of the car, and hence why you should always check the back of your car before you go in, which is where Brad Dourif comes in. He is not the killer, no. He is the gas station attendant that tries to warn the girl that there is a person with an axe on the back of her car. But she doesn't listen. She actually kicks him and pretty much smashes a phone in his head. So yeah, that's real nice. Real nice, Michelle. Her name is Michelle Mancini. So it all starts with her death. She is decapitated, as things go. So yeah, sorry for Michelle. And then we cut to this group of college students, very wise indeed, who are talking about a supposed campus massacre that happened sometime in the 70s or 60s, and it happened in a place called Stanley Hall, and it is the reason why one of the actually it is Tara Reid's character. Her name is Sasha. It's her boyfriend. He's in a frat house, of course, and he is planning this party that is going to happen on the anniversary of the supposed Stanley Hall massacre. And we all know what that means. It means party at the end of the movie, major climactic moment. So this movie is, I know a lot of people will say, it's so basic. That's the whole point. It follows the structure of the slasher film that was previously established in the 80s, and then it was brought back to life by Scream. So it's perfect. It is amazing. I love it. And the kills are actually pretty good. The ending gets a little weird, but we're not there yet. So there's this party going on. Everyone thinks the massacres are fake because there's no record of anything, and blah, blah, blah. There's a conspiracy to cover up stuff, and yada, yada, yada. Then they hear that Michelle Mancini has been found dead. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is so sad. How terrible. She was decapitated. And one of the girls, Natalie, who is the actual, star of the film, Alicia Witt's character, she gets really sad and really uncomfortable, and it was like, oh, what's your problem? And she's like, oh, nothing. And it turns out that dear Natalie used to go to school with Michelle. They were actually buddies. They were best friends. They were both in the cheerleading team and whatnot. And they stopped talking because just as they were about to graduate, they did this prank. And what they did is that they did this gang initiation thing that I've never heard of, and probably is not even an actual urban legend. You're supposed to turn off the lights of your car where you're driving, and the first person that flashes you so that you turn on your lights, you turn and you follow them and you kill them. That's the legend. It's a gang initiation thing. So they did that, and they ended up killing the person that they were chasing. And Natalie was not driving, but it was her car. It was Michelle's idea, but she didn't say anything. So she feels guilty. And they were found guilty of reckless endangerment, actually. So that's why they don't talk to each other anymore, even though they're in the same campus, which is weird. It doesn't seem to be like a very large campus. So after that, she's like all sad and whatnot, and she bumps into Joshua Jackson's character. I can't remember his name because he's not going to be alive much longer. And that's when the whole car thing happens. He's taking her out for some beers and whatnot because, he's trying to like comfort her and also get into her pants. So they drive, and he parks in this very isolated spot in the woods because there's a wood. Of course, there's a wood. And he shoots his shot. He misses. She gets pissed, asks him to drive her back, and he's like, oh, but I gotta pee. So he gets out of the car. Classic. And he gets murdered. And then he gets hung on top of the car, and his feet start like scratching the hood of the car, and it's like, like the legend from the man with the hook that haunts people on Lover's Lane. So she manages to get the car started and drive away, and she finds Reese, the head of security of campus, and takes her to where the car was and everything, to where the body was, because she saw the corpse. And there's nothing. The corpse is gone. So everyone's like, oh my God, he totally pranked you. He's a prankster. He was supposed to be to go ski boarding for the weekend, and it's like Thursday or something. So everyone's like, oh, he's just messing with you. He's probably alive. But for the rest of the movie, nobody can get in touch with him. Still, nobody suspects anything because it's 1998. People don't have cell phones. There are pagers, but not everyone has a pager. I think only Paul's character, Jared Leto's character, has a pager because he's like the big shot at the school paper or whatnot. So that's why. If you're like more of a millennial and you're like, why didn't anybody call his cell phone? That's why, because people didn't use cell phones back in the good old days. So that's kill number 2, which is pretty cool actually. It's not a bad death. This is not a very graphic film, thankfully. A lot of people can watch it if you're squeamish. So then it starts to be clear that it kind of has something to do with Natalie, because they're pretty much targeting people around her. So things get quiet for a while, They start suspecting the Professor Wexler, Robert Englund's character, because he's kind of creepy and he teaches this class and like mythology and urban legends, and maybe, he kind of went cuckoo because they're not paying him enough. And he is kind of suspicious. But not because of the reason they think. Also, the dean is like, oh, nothing is happening. Let's hush everything, like deans usually do. Okay, so we're starting. And then Natalie's, let me just brush this a little bit, roommate, Tosh, who's played by Danielle Harris, who's like this very hot goth chick. I wish I'd had her sense of style when I was goth, but I didn't. Oh my god. How can this get so tangled up so quickly? So Tosh gets killed, and this is a very disturbing one because it's this urban legend, the one that says they killed the person and then there's writing on the wall that says, aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light? Because Natalie had walked in on Tosh having sex before. So Tosh is always like, do not turn on the light. Do not turn on the light. Like, what am I to you? So this one time, Natalie gets home. She hears a muffled sort of moany, screamy noises. And she's like, oh, no, it's okay. I'm not looking. I'm going to my bed and I'm putting my headphones on and listening to some indie rock 90s music and falling asleep. And the next morning, Tosh is dead. So she's feeling very, very guilty because she was right there. And everyone else is like, oh, but Tosh, she was bipolar. She was taking lithium. It's not your fault. She probably killed herself. And she's like, nah, man, there was someone else in the room. I heard the other person. But there's no evidence, apparently, of said person. Although I'm pretty inclined to believe that if there was any evidence, the dean and, the people at campus would have completely gotten rid of it because that's not the publicity that they want. So that's one officially killed student, Michelle, one kind of missing student, the Joshua Jackson character, and the not supposed suicide with Tosh. So it is now very, very clear that this is all against Natalie. Paul, Jared Leto's journalist character, starts smelling something in the air, and he's like, ooh, this is an interesting story, so I'm going to start digging up on this thing. And he starts kind of harassing Natalie so that she tells him the truth and whatnot. Eventually, she confesses what they did with the car, and he's like, oh, that sucks. And they start digging. They start digging, trying to figure out what's going on in school, if it has something to do with Natalie, if it has something to do with the supposed Stanley Hall massacre that everyone says didn't really happen, but it's like a very prevalent myth on campus. And they discovered that the massacre was actually real. It did happen. And lo and behold, who is a survivor of said massacre? Professor Wexler. That's right, not suspicious at all. So they conclude that, of course, Wexler keeps his mouth shut, he gets tenure, and he's set for life. Only thing he has to do is not speak a word, which makes him very suspicious. And they figured, the anniversary of the massacre is coming up. Maybe he finally lost it and he's killing students. But Natalie's like, why is he killing students that are close to me? Hello, what did I ever do to him? So the day of the party finally comes. By this time, Natalie has a fight with her best friend, Brenda, because Brenda is pretty much in love with Paul, and she is always on top of Paul. She's like, hi, Paul. Hello, Paul. Do you need anything, Paul? Coffee, tea, me? And, of course, Paul starts getting real close to Natalie, and they end up kissing, and Brenda sees them, and she's like, oh, F you, you're not a real friend, and I don't want to hear from you anymore. So the day of the party comes, and everyone's like super stoked and having fun. And, Sasha's boyfriend, Tara Reid's character, has this little dog. This is like the one part of the film that I was like, how dare you? How dare you? That was not cool. Not cool at all. So, they reenact the granny that dries her hair in the microwave with the poor dog. It's not fun. And then they proceed to kill the frat house boyfriend by pumping battery acid into his stomach and then pop rocks. Because, that happens. And then Sasha, who has a radio program, they do like sex education. You know, they answer questions that have to do with sexuality, which is pretty cool actually. So she's alone on the radio for some reason. There's no one there with her. And of course the killer comes after her and ends up killing her while she is live on the radio. That was an interesting and very cool touch because everyone thinks and assumes she's like doing a special type of program because of the anniversary of the massacre, and that she's just like acting it out when she's screaming, "Please help me, he's trying to kill me." So the only one that believes that she's truly in danger is Natalie, of course, and she runs over to figure out what's going on. She bumps into Paul, who is like super nervous for some reason, and they also bump into Brenda. And they are driving, trying to find the police on Paul's car when there's like this really bad smell. And when they stop at this gas station so that Paul can use the phone to call 911, they look at the back of his car and lo and behold, there's a body. But not anybody, it's Professor Wexler's body. So Brenda and Natalie are like, screw this, I'm out. Brenda's like, okay, you can keep him, I don't want him anymore. And they start running into the woods. Natalie loses Brenda at some point, and Paul comes running after them. At this point, it's like, yeah, you dirty bitch, Paul, you just wanted a story to get famous, and you started murdering people. Reese, the cop, the rent-a-cop, like they used to call her, who's a real fan of Foxy Brown, by the way. She goes into Professor Wexler's studio and she finds blood and she's like, something's going on here. This does not feel good. I can't find the dean anywhere. And that's because the dean is also dead. Right before a storm hit, he gets murdered in the parking lot. This is a pretty cool death as well because the killer is under the car and he looks at the back seat of the car but not under the car, and the killer slashes his ankles and he can't walk anymore, so he's like crawling on the floor, and then the killer basically runs him over with his own car. Okay, so Reese is now like covered in blood, running around campus trying to find people, and she hears noises in Stanley Hall. You know, the hall that's abandoned because the massacre happened in there, the massacre that wasn't not supposed to be real. So she gets there. So Natalie makes it, after she loses Brenda in the woods, she makes it to Stanley Hall as well. And it's open and there are lights, and she's like, what the fuck is going on? So she goes in and she thinks it's Paul, of course. So she walks in, there's this room with like a bed and there's candles and there is the corpse of Brenda lying on the bed. And she's like, oh God, no, I'm so sorry. I'm such a horrible friend. I'm sorry I failed you. I didn't get here in time. And then, bam, Brenda gets up from the bed with this evil look on her beautiful blue eyes. And she just knocks out Natalie in one punch. It's like, whoa, what did just happen? Yes, it was Brenda. It was Brenda all along. And now we are all wondering, what the fuck, Brenda? I mean, yeah, Paul's cute, but he's not that cute. So Natalie now is shackled to this bed. And she's like, now what? And she's like trying to plead with Brenda. And Brenda's like, nah, And she has this whole slide projector thing going on. And she's like explaining to Natalie, this is all your fault. It's not because of Paul. It's because of this thing you did when you were still in high school. You remember that thing you did? That thing that caused the death of a person? And she's like, oh, shit, yeah, I do remember. So it turns out the guy that died when Natalie and Michelle did this little prank was Brenda's boyfriend. Not just her boyfriend, her fiancé. They were going to get married right after high school. So Brenda obviously never got over it, and she even says, you know what, therapy didn't help, so I might as well just kill everyone. So it was because of the guy, but not because of the guy that we thought. So she's like, and now you're gonna die, and she explains to Natalie that she's gonna get her kidney out and let her bleed to death, you know, just like the urban legend. So she starts stabbing at Natalie with this scalpel. And she's like, oops, I was such a dummy at anatomy. And I'm like, girl, that's not nice. And then Paul shows up and he's like, oh, this is really good. I like this. I like this idea. Let me give you just some pointers so we can make this bulletproof and foolproof, and we can blame it all on Wexler. You know, he's already dead. You already killed him. But let's blame it all on the old dude, you know? And then Brenda's like, nah, dude, you're just trying to sweet talk me. This is not gonna work. And then Reese shows up because she also saw the noises and everything up at Stanley Hall. And she's like, freeze, motherfucker. But Brenda gets the upper hand, and now she has Reese's gun, and she's shooting at everybody, and she's like, oh, well, a bullet is not as good as what I had planned, but it'll still kill you. Oh my god, my head here, it's hot. So there's this fight. They sort of get away from her because Reese gets up, and she's not really dead anyways. So there is Paul and Natalie running away in the car, and Natalie explaining to Paul sort of what happened, and Paul's like, okay, but if this is when's the bad guy supposed to come back alive if this is...
Lo and behold, Brenda's in the backseat of the car. They didn't check the backseat of the car.
So Brenda's still trying to kill them with an axe now. They're struggling in the car, and well, they end up crashing into the side of a bridge. Brenda flies out, lands on the river, and is never seen again. And of course, her body is never found. The end. We cut to another campus, and there's this other group of really cool college students, and they are talking about this urban legend killer that happened on this campus, but everyone denies its existence, and it's all been covered up by the authorities. And everyone's like, that never happened, and blah, blah, blah. And then this girl, she's like, no, but you told it wrong. That's not how it happened. I will tell you how it really happened. And it turns out it's Brenda. It's Brenda with a brand new hairdo, so she's not dead. Now, this is the end of the film, and it was a fantastic movie. I love it. I don't know what happened, why the sequels were so bad. Like, honestly, they were like laughable. So I don't know what they completely went with a new cast, very poor directing, very poor storyline. So you have Brenda who is still alive. You could have gone the way of Sleepaway Camp 2 and given us another Brenda sequel, because Brenda is like a great, I mean, she's good. She's good as a baddie. She has those Rebecca Gayheart, she's beautiful, and she has this great expressive blue eyes, and when she's acting all crazy, it's like you believe her because her eyes are so expressive. I just love her eyes. Oh my god, I finished the film, but I didn't finish what I'm doing. So we're gonna fast forward all this. Got my plastic bag on my head, and now it's time to wait. So see you in a bit.
A few moments later.
And this is what my hair looks like after rinsing it. It's yeah, the roots you can see very well. I'm gonna have to go back in, touch up the roots, and a little bit of the sides of the hair. There's a lot of pink in there. I don't know. I mean, I did have pink hair for a while, but that was like 4 months ago. It was a long time ago. So I'm gonna have to go in again. So, see, this is perfect. This right here, this is perfect. So I'm gonna have to go back in, try and get this pink out, because I don't think I can put blonde beige dye on top of this pink. So I'm gonna let my hair rest a couple of days, and I'm gonna go back in, maybe give it a bleach bath instead of a full bleach. That might help. So this is what it looks like right now. This is where we're gonna end this video, and next week I will show you the dye, what it looks like with the dye. Hopefully it'll turn out nice. hopefully. So this is going to be all for today. Already it's a very long video, I can tell. So please like and subscribe if you like what you saw. Also turn the notifications bell so that you can get notified whenever we post a new video. And we have new videos every Wednesday. Most of those are in Spanish, but we're gonna try and sneak in a few English spoken videos on Saturdays that are a little bit off the norm. So without further ado, this has been your friend Horror Granny here. I hope you have a great weekend. See you later. Bye.